Mr. Speaker, when will the Prime Minister match the grand promises with the real change Canadians need?
I understand the Leader of the Opposition was busy. He missed the largest tax cut for 22 million Canadians.
That was the long-awaited first debate in the House of Commons between Prime Minister Mark Carney and Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre. Let's dive right into how they did with our City Talks panel, Ashley Csanady, Laryssa Whaler, and Marion Nader. Thank you all for joining us. Okay, Pierre Poilievre has the home court advantage. He knows the House of Commons, the rules inside out. Mark Carney, of course, he's got a lot of public speaking experience, but not in the same way. Laryssa, how do you think he did?
I think he did well. I think you're right that Pierre Poilievre is a master at this. When politicians engage in Parliament, there are rules they have to follow. They have to speak through the Speaker. There are time limits. There are things you can and can't say. Pierre Poilievre knows all of them. We're going to see Mark Carney make some blunders, but I think Mark Carney did a really good job being a little more, I don't want to say human, but a little warmer than I expected him to be on day one. He felt a little more comfortable than I thought he might have felt.
Ashley, do you think Pierre Poilievre was a little bit warmer as well? Did he dial it back?
I do. I feel like there was a vibe of congeniality and collegiality between the two of them. That was nice to see at the kickoff with how rancorous Parliament had gotten last year, especially right before former Prime Minister Trudeau resigned. So it was definitely nice to see a bit of an idea, echoing what some of the House leaders have said about these two parties maybe working together a little bit to make this minority Parliament work, at least in the short term.
But how long will it last, Marion?
Well, this is the thing. I mean, the first 3.5 minutes was great, and then, things just started to change. And I think at the end of the day, it was Poilievre did a great job because this is all he's done. The Prime Minister was getting his sea legs going. But in these turbulent times, I think the Prime Minister's kind of bland, measured stature is going to blunt any type of political theatrics and sloganeering because this is a very, serious time.
It's a different government, it's a different time.
Exactly.
Let's get right into the budget. It's now going to be November 4th. This has been a long time since this country has seen a budget. It's been delayed a little bit. Excuse me. Carney is now saying tough cuts have to be made, but it's going to be attrition as well. Is the math mathing, Laryssa?
The math is not mathing, and yesterday his finance minister also said that there's going to be generational investment in this budget.
How do you do both?
I don't know how you do both, but I also don't know how Mark Carney can both be Mark Carney, environmental activist and zealot, and Mark Carney, Governor of the Bank of Canada. Right? Sometimes he wears one hat, sometimes he wears the other.
Ashley, I'm going to ask you. Would you refer to him as environmental zealot? Let's just call that out. We can call each other out here.
I mean, I think that the proof is in the pudding of the past few months. Mark Carney has rolled back the consumer tax on carbon. He's proven to be pragmatic on the environment, and I think he's going to put forward a fairly pragmatic budget that really does provide those generational investments we need as a country.
Marion, I'm going to give you the last word on the budget.
No, austerity means cuts, and he's overselling an austerity budget in a nice, pretty bow and package, and it's just not going to cut it.
Okay, let's turn to Mexico. Carney is going to Mexico City this week to meet with the Mexican president to try to maybe smooth over some trade issues, get a better understanding and a better relationship. Laryssa, I'll start with you on this one. Can he succeed here? What does he need to accomplish with Mexico?
It's a relationship game, right? So it's going down to Mexico and figuring out what are our commonalities, right? Everybody has to revisit the CUSMA agreement in 2026.
It's coming fast.
It's coming fast. It's good for us to have our own established relationship link and common interests with Mexico before we approach, as both countries, the United States.
Okay.
I think we need a united front with Mexico, right? If we're continuing on the CUSMA vein of the trilateral agreement, there does need to be a relationship between Carney and President Sheinbaum in order to make this work, because we know Trump is not only erratic, but he does hold a lot of the power in the cards for both of our economies. But united, we have a greater impact on the American people and on American workers.
Can Mexico and Canada united make much of a dent here?
Well, if they should, he needs to come back with a game plan with Mexico and saying, we're going to be united, correct, but also we're sitting on the same side of the table and we're united, and it's going to be harder for Trump to play the, divide and conquer game.
Okay, that's the key. Don't play divide and conquer, or don't allow that. But really, he still has the majority of power in this three-way relationship.
But it's harder if Canada and Mexico stand united and start, carving out their own, supply chain deals and diversifying the trade and whatnot. So that's what people, countries need to do, is unite against, the bully if they want to move forward and make any change.
Chrystia Freeland is moving on to a new role and will not be running again. Is this a good thing for Mark Carney? Is it good for him to start distancing and losing the old Trudeau guard, Laryssa?
Yes, it is.
Because that has been a large complaint by many Conservatives, for example, even the NDP, that it's the same old government, just a different face fronting it.
I think it's good for everybody. When I saw that statement, I almost let out a sigh of relief for Minister Freeland. She's been through the ringer, right?
She has.
And I would say that a lot of the criticisms about her time as finance minister were valid. And then she resigned over her own $62 billion deficit. I think she has earned the opportunity to go work on something she cares about. As a taxpayer, I'm like, how are you both a special envoy and an MP at the same time? We've never done that. We've had special envoys, but it's always been a senior statesman or a retired politician. It's never been an active politician. We have an ambassador from Canada to Ukraine who's wonderful.
But this seems designed to be a graceful exit.
It absolutely, and she will be good at it. There's probably nobody better at it, but I don't know how you do that and remain an MP at the same time.
Ashley, other names are being floated about that they also might be making a graceful exit. Bill Blair is one that's mentioned. Anybody else? And what do you make of that?
Jonathan Wilkinson's name's up there. Stephen Guilbeault, the former Environment Minister, current Minister of Culture and Official Languages. Their names are also being floated for this. And they are very much Trudeau-era cabinet ministers. Two of them, Wilkinson and Guilbeault, are known to be more on that, environmentalist side of the party. So there may be some frustrations and tensions there with the pragmatism the Carney government has shown. And they're all also, hitting a point where I think regardless of who was the prime minister right now, would be starting to get to the point of maybe looking for what their next thing looks like. I think Bill Blair in particular. But again, changing of a guard, right team and right place, and ensuring that these people, Chrystia Freeland included, who've done a good service to the party and to the country in turn, are continuing to serve Canadians, but in a way that fits both politically and potentially where they are in their life.
Any darts, Marion?
Well, yeah, because it's interesting. I mean, she definitely got a soft landing. He's consolidating his front bench. But it's interesting because with all these, potential Liberals who are leaving, which means there are going to be by-elections, by-elections can change the configuration of the House, especially when you have a minority government.
Okay, time will tell. Thank you all very much for joining us. Great political panel today and great discussion. Thank you.
Thank you.